Hello everyone, I'm Zhicong from the University of Toronto. Today I am presenting our paper on the study of social media misinformation in China. In recent years, social media platforms like Facebook, Twitter, and WeChat have become, for many people, a major source for news consumption and information about the outside world. Although these platforms make news and different opinions on public issues more accessible, individuals may face uncertainty about the veracity of the information disseminated on them. The social media landscape nowadays involves a wide array of actors, including traditional news outlets, professional or casual news reporting individuals, user-generated content, and third-party fact-checkers. This changing environment makes it challenging for users to evaluate the trustworthiness of information on social media. In China, the media landscape is even more complicated. Most people only use local social media platforms such as WeChat, Weibo, and Toutiao to socialize with others and consume news online. WeChat is an integral part of Chinese people's life, and group chats on WeChat have become a main source of misinformation for many people. In China, WeChat is the dominant social media platform, with over 1 billion accounts worldwide. It acts as a major information hub for users through a wide range of services, including public accounts. This is an example of public accounts. Users can subscribe to these public accounts, browse the articles by them, and when these public accounts publish new articles, it will send push notifications to users, just like when a friend messages a user. There are also two types of media on WeChat: official media that are run by the state or state-controlled organizations, and citizen media, which are run by companies or individuals who share information in a professional or casual way. It is currently unknown how users perceive these two types of social media on WeChat or other platforms. Government interventions in the ecosystem are becoming increasingly prevalent. Internet censorship further complicates the circulation of information to its consumers. To maintain the status quo for the current regime, the Chinese government has enforced social media sites to censor their content according to its guidelines and employed human censors to monitor the internet. The official criteria for classifying content as sensitive are unclear and ever-changing, and social media platforms in China often impose stricter removal policies to stay within the ever-changing government boundaries. And when some content is blocked, the image on the right will be shown on WeChat, which indicate that the content cannot be viewed due to violation of regulation. Water warriors or astroturfers, who are commentators and posters organized and sponsored by the government or a company to add comments of certain flavor in the public sphere, are prevalent on social media in China, as shown by previous research of King et al. They showed that some governmental astroturfing was for strategic distraction, but not for engaged argument or civic engagement. For example, cheerleading comments like "we all have to work harder, to rely on ourselves, and to take the initiative to move forward" could be seen posted on articles on different topics on WeChat or Weibo. However, research has also shown that some posters who seem like astroturfers may not act independently. They post content online because they naturally share the same sentiments as astroturfers. Most social media platforms in China also have built-in fact-checking services. This is an example of WeChat fact-checking tool, where users can search for debunking fact-checking articles, browse articles related to their reading history, and browse different fact-checking institutions or organizations. So, with these different actors, we're interested in how people perceive misinformation and these different actors and factors on social media in China, and how these factors influence how people evaluate information on social media in China. To understand this research question, we conducted an interview-based study, and a combination of snowball and convenience sampling was used for recruitment. And in the end, we recruited 44 WeChat users in China. Please refer to our paper for more details. I'll briefly highlight our key findings in this talk. So, surprisingly, few participants reported seeing political misinformation on social media in China. Instead, a lot of them reported seeing personal health related, public health related, food security, public incidents or crisis, local life, entertainment, and celebrity related misinformation on social media in China. Most interviewees felt that health-related misinformation is prevalent, and they are aware that many of the WeChat public accounts that share health-related misinformation are actually for promoting products. So they're becoming more and more cautious about the information, the health-related misinformation shared online. An astonishing number of participants reported that they follow and trust official media more than citizen media, even though they understand that the official media has censorship. They believe that this official media represent the opinion of the government, are more regulated and less influenced by companies, and they care more about their reputation. Also, they believe that official media outlets cared more about liability for sharing misinformation than companies. Although fact-checking features have been implemented on WeChat for almost 2 years, our participants, more than half of them reported not having heard of this WeChat feature. And when guided through the WeChat fact-checking feature, they reported that they tend to trust fact-checkers from authoritative institutions, such as the government or universities, rather than other organizations. And in general, they exhibited a passive, indifferent attitude towards using it. So, who do they think needs fact-checking? Interestingly, they think that other people need it rather than themselves. They had confidence in themselves, but did not have it for other people, especially for other generations. These two quotes are some interesting examples. Like the young interviewee P4 believed that older adults are more easily deceived by misinformation online, so they should use fact-checking more. And P11, who is in his 50s, believed that because young adults have little experience in life, they are more easily being misled by misinformation online. In terms of censorship, actually most people, all the interviewees are aware of the censorship. However, many interviewees believe that it was acceptable for the government to control some news to maintain the stability of the country, especially because they think that there are a lot of people with low education and literacy who may need help with making sense of the information online. As Water Army or 50-cent party is a common concept on social media in China. In our study, we asked participants about their own definition and perception of it. Most interviewees were skeptical about the existence of governmental astroturfers due to the lack of solid evidence, though they are aware, there are a lot of astroturfers organized by companies. And most of them claimed they would not be swayed by astroturfers, and their attitudes towards astroturfing were highly varied, while most of them claimed that it was hard for them to identify astroturfers. Here are some examples of why they think it's hard to identify astroturfers. Because they attributed pro-government or pro-China comments to patriotic sentiment increasingly seen on social media in China, or simply people with low literacy. They reported that they could not easily distinguish astroturfers and people who truly think like that. And this led to our claim of the government's dividend. For some participants, such low-quality comments had actually increased their pro-moderation or even pro-censorship views. Because with more low-quality comments, they think there are more people with lower education and lower literacy, and they think the government should moderate the information online to control them, to help to sustain the stability of the country. Here are some discussion points. So in our study, astroturfing reinforces some people's belief that stability is important for the society, which aligns with the goal of censorship, silencing collective expression. And even being aware of censorship and governmental interventions, some people still trust official media more than citizen media. And fact-checking services, although they are available on WeChat, participants had indifferent attitudes. They care more about fact-checking relevant to their daily lives. However, fact-checking at this scale is hard to achieve. That can really provide relevant daily life misinformation fact-checking. And we also have some limitations. For example, the sample population leaned towards the middle class, highly educated, and urban group because of the sampling method. And because it's interview-based study, some participants may not be willing to disclose their real feelings about certain topics, especially if that topics are politically sensitive for them. So using different methodology might be useful in the future. And we advocate the CHI community to explore misinformation issues in different countries with different cultural and social contexts, so that we can better understand how people perceive misinformation in their unique environments. And with that, I conclude my talk, and I want to thank all my co-authors again for their support. Thank you very much.